Welcome everybody for coming. I did collect questions on Telegram and I've prioritized them, so if we can go to them first. And everybody will have a chance to speak. It's not a quiet session, but I want to be clear that Maria is not here to try and solve specifically individual problems. We're here to try and gather problems that affect kind of everybody as foreigners here. And then if you have something specific, if we have time, maybe if not, you can contact me later individually, and then I can see if I can facilitate him either through Maria or through someone else. So without any delay, I will pass it over to Maria and I will hand off the first question, which is, can something be done about the registration process? Because for foreigners, especially those on visas, every time they have to register, they register to their apartment, and then they go to Moscow for 2 days, they register, and they come back and they have to re-register in their apartment. They don't have a permanent registration and a temporary registration like Russians or those with permanent visas. And especially what makes it worse is that landlords here often don't want to register foreigners because they're not paying the rental tax. And they know if they register the foreigner, they're going to be rental tax. So it's a really big problem for foreigners. I would say that's definitely the number one question I got. And I knew that before I even asked it. So if you can address that.
Okay. Number one, the taxation for the landlord. They can always make an agreement for you for 11 months and they do not pay any taxes. So this is simply they don't know. That's number one. Number two, is there a possibility to eliminate registration for foreigners? The answer is no way. Because you guys are really you're migrants. So if and the law is the same for everybody. If we eliminate registration for foreigners, do you know what it means? That all people from the Middle Asia will never be found in Russia anymore because they won't need to be registered. So that becomes a big problem. Which means that unless we find a way to really divide their two groups, the two categories, of people like you who came on highly qualified visa, marriage visa from the what we call unfriendly countries, there is no way to set up a universal registration for everyone and eliminate any issues. Because once we open the gate, that's going to be a problem. I think, and I hope you all understand this. Tell me please if somebody tried to register themselves with an agreement without a landlord being present in the migration service. All right, do you know that it's legal now? All right, you should. You cannot do it through gosuslugi yet, but you can do it in the paperwork. And people in the migration service actually have to do it. Well, they might refuse and say, well, we don't know such law, but Chad, I will send you the actual постановление, the actual law, that you guys are going to take with you next time when you go and become my test case. So you come in, it's legal, it has been signed, so you need to bring your agreement with your landlord and documents that prove that your landlord really owns this apartment. He or she shall not come. It is not necessary anymore. This change was passed last year and it's working in certain regions, and I really wanted to work in St. Petersburg. So far it works in Nizhny, quite good. If it doesn't work here, and if you have any issues with that, you let Chad know. We will create a list, and I will have a meeting with the head of the immigration service here in St. Petersburg to talk about this, because it shall be done by law. This is the best what I can do for you to simplify the process. So at least your landlord does not need to go. What else on the registration?
On the registration, I know one thing, because every time you and I have to be registered.
If you travel?
Yes.
Don't know yet. I've never heard about this problem before, never thought about it before. So here is Konstantin, my assistant.
There is the same issue with hospitals. If you happen into the hospital, then hospital actually has to register you, right? And then you get out of the hospital, you have to re-register again.
Thank you. Let us take this and have a closer look. Because the lawmaking process is not fast. It's not happening tomorrow. But the meetings like this that I've had in many cities in Russia actually do help, because you are the first ones who actually rolls this question in terms of traveling and hospital. I even didn't know.
I'll add about the hospital.
Okay.
Like some hospitals do register you, and some hospitals are like, oh, you're a foreigner, no way we're registering you. So my question is that after I'm out of the hospital, if I go to Embassy and try to register myself again, will they do like this, and you know, will any sanction follow? So I cannot anyhow, unfortunately or fortunately, influence the hospital's obligations and fulfilling their. So there is a.
That I can. So if you have issues like that, if you have a specific cost problem, this is where we go to the specific case. Of course, I will ask the Ministry of Health to make. Tell them like, just make sure you follow it.
Yeah.
But the country is big and the attitude could be different. If you face this problem, for instance, right now, you guys shall let Chad know. Chad will have a list. So sorry for not letting you contact me directly, because I have so many people every day. It's not going to be noticed. That's why I so appreciate Chad's help. Thank you.
Also, the registration is limited by the visa. So also, if our agreement with the landlord is for 1 year or 2 years. If our visa ends, my current temporary visa is until end of month, so the registration will be until end of month only. And I'd have to go again after I get a new visa, so it's somehow limited by so it should be independent. If I live at a place.
No, it cannot be independent, because your status in Russia is based on your visa. So if you have an expired visa, nobody would let you stay here with an expired visa.
But is that the job of the registration people to decide whether I should stay or not, or is that?
Well, no, we actually apply for a new visa, and once you got it from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, then based on this visa you go to MBD and make the whole process. What is your visa type?
702 degree.
Sorry?
702 degree.
702. Have you applied for your RVP?
Yes.
So your RVP will be valid for 3 years?
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
I'm now
so
waiting for it.
Okay.
I need to.
And you can travel, you know it, right?
I'm not sure. The MVD people said I need to apply for another visa when I.
We had this
Yes.
discussion. I informed
Yes.
him. He can't.
Yes, you should, but you can travel. So if you travel abroad, the process of RVP does not stop. But in order to get in back, you will apply for a new visa.
So
This
I
is
can't get another grant now. This is the problem.
702 cannot be on a traveling visa. It's one entry only, because it was considered to be just for people who want to come and stay. So, but you are not limited to apply for a different visa.
From the embassy again.
Yeah. So you from the States?
From Germany.
From Germany?
Yeah.
Do you know that you have an e-visa, electronic
Yeah, I
visa?
know.
So you can apply electronically. That actually helps.
No, that's my only option actually. But I cannot, once I enter, I have to leave.
Wait, so your visa is expiring, but you are in the process of getting your RVP. So you don't need to leave the country if you have your RVP process. Because do you have a piece of paper that says that your documents have been taken?
I do. Maybe I need to go for a wedding. I bring the rest of the stuff
I
from the
see.
storage.
So, and while you're waiting, and if your visa is expired, your contract is with the landlord. They cut it, correct? Because you don't have a visa anymore, and they won't take the document of the process of getting RVP as a basis for extending the contract. That's what you mean?
No, what I meant now, my registration is until my end of my 702 visa, which is end of this month. I would need to ask the landlord to register me again once I come back, because I extend my visa first.
You have to leave anyway, right?
Yes, yeah.
Why do you have to leave? Do you have some
Wedding.
personal? Okay. But if you won't need to leave the country, then you can just stay, because you have a piece of paper that says you are in the process of getting your.
The NVIDIA officers said that I would get an extension visa, an extension to the current one, which is for 3 months. Oh, of course, registered. If I would use 10 days of this 3-month visa, it will get expired when I leave. I would need to get a new one, so that I need to register for 3 days. Get the new visa, come back, register again. So it's
Yeah.
well,
It's,
yeah. But it also
if you don't leave, you have no issue.
I just want to ask you maybe, so now that we are registering our phones and our SIM cards, so the MVD has theoretically the possibility to track us live where we are all the
It
time.
always had. Well,
So-
an MPD
so-
does not track people like this.
I mean, so why is the registration still needed if you can know all the time where also using cameras and fingerprinting, you know all the
Next
time?
question.
All right, sorry.
Because I see your initiative, it sounds very nice, but I already told you what is the problem. So if we open the gates, are you sure you will feel safe?
I know at least how other countries do
How they
the registration.
Well, Europe has not been successful. Neither was the United States. So far for us, keeping this thing tight, actually lets all of you guys to have white nights and pocket nights.
No, that's what I really appreciate it. The journal. No, actually, the process actually went from the decree to the actual to the being in this as well. It's very quickly. So I understand it's not polished yet.
Yeah,
Process.
it's going to take some time, and trust me, it's a lot of work. Is everyone able to make their SNILs to have their SIM cards done?
No,
What is the problem?
I have SNILs, I have everything, but there is some kind of data mismatch probably on the system. So I've been dealing with the SIM card registration thing since the 10th of February, but it's still not.
So I will need an official application from you describing the whole process, because if it's the Ministry of Digital Force, whatever, how will we call it, the problem is imperfect. I mean, the system is imperfect. That could happen, which means in these cases, and if you know cases like this, official application to me as a deputy, and let me deal with that, because we are now testing a new system that will let you to just go to a bank to get your SNILs, biometrics, your SIM card, all at one place, because we know the issue. And you see, yeah, we already checked how it works. So far it's like 50-50, but it's all about computers. So we need to set up a computer system so it automatically applies for you for SNILs, for biometrics, just in one place. Once you fly in at the airport, you don't need to search for SNILs. And I also know if they misspell your name, you have a huge problem. I know we are trying, your case, right?
Yeah, they misspelled my name when I opened my bank account in 2016, and it's followed me. It's followed me all these years. I've been able to work around it, but I tried to fix it recently with my new passport, and I'm currently waiting because now to change my passport information in the Socialny Fond, I was unsuccessful the first time, but I tried again, and maybe it'll work.
If you are unsuccessful again, the same, you write an application, and I'm interested in these cases, because you are not the only one, trust me. How did they misspell your name?
What happens, so this is a problem in Sberbank. So I think my bank account is okay now, but what happened is so I have my passport in English, and I have my visa, which has the transcription of my name. But when the bank computer in Sberbank gets my name, it automatically transcribes it, and you can't manually change it. And it didn't. So then, how my name was spelled in the bank, it was not like my name in my passport, and it was not like my name in any of my visas. So my document name never matched my bank name.
So is your passport matches your visa information?
Now it does.
I have an H and a W in my last name. And since I came here first in 2001, at one point, the Russian government had 5 different spellings of my name.
It used to be that every visa had a different spelling. Now I try to get the same spelling, but for a while it was...
Well, it should be automatically. It means that the Ministry of Digital Service should kind of have a matching database with the banks, with the SIM cards, with all, mobile operators and SNILs and everything. Actually, in Russia, we have developed a system that automatically spells your name in Russian correctly, but I guess for the visa they just don't use it.
And now my situation is improved because I have that same passport, and they said as long as I had that same passport, for some reason I was unable to change it, but I just got a new passport with a new visa, and I'm sticking with that spelling. So now it should be working, but I'm still trying to get rid of my old passport that is in the system still.
Okay, got it.
I have an issue with letters in a passport number because obviously, because this passport is a foreign passport, the letters are sometimes typed in as in Latin alphabet, and in some institutions it's typed in as a Russian alphabet, Cyrillic letters, because these letters happen to coincide just because they look the same.
Еще одна история, когда
Like the V and the V.
we'll probably request an instruction from the Ministry of Digital Service to kind of have it unified for every government
We actually had a
organization.
very good idea here, brainstorming all those
See
issues
how
regarding
wonderful
this.
is that I'm late.
No, we had it in Telegram before, actually.
But like for foreign passports, one thing they could do is limit the entry to Latin-only characters. So if it's a foreign passport, they can't put any
Yeah.
Cyrillic letters
I
in.
really like Tim, I think it was Tim's idea that we could have some kind of
Yeah, a national
identity.
identity number, a special foreign identity number
Mm.
that's not necessarily tied to changing documents, that's tied to your actual identity.
I think this is a
Просто
great
надо, знаешь, как...
That could simplify the
Right.
registration procedure too, because when we register,
Мгм.
we have to present our previous 2 registrations
Мгм.
to register, but if we had a unique identity, if we could just go and register, here's my SNILs, I'm registering here, and the system should know where we've already been,
Мгм.
without having to present. When I check into a hotel, I have to show my previous, if I lose those 2 papers,
I know. Over time, it probably will be done. Just takes time because to make everything electronic just takes time. The database is just huge. What was the next issue? So we covered the SIM cards, the registration.
so
Okay,
the
what
next
else?
question was spousal visas, and this is one that I don't know about as much as others, but apparently the
Who
spousal
has the
visa.
spouse visa? Is there anyone? Okay, we need the case. Okay.
Well, the question was because the person said that they can't work under a spousal visa, which I know is true. So they're like, how am I supposed to contribute towards the family if I can't work? And apparently the spousal visa expires every year, and they said they have to leave and go to their home country every year to renew it.
Do you have anyone you know on a spouse visa?
On the group we do, yes.
Okay. Can he or she describe all the issues that they have
Yes, I have.
in a letter to me?
Mhm.
Okay, good. Они опишут
Yeah,
всю
and for
историю.
anybody who needs to address something, just send it to me directly. You can direct message to
All
me,
your
and then I will
pains, all your
coordinate it
pains,
with.
very much, very helpful.
Yeah.
Seriously, very helpful. Because I'm now developing certain system that will let people who come on 702 to have no taxation on their personal property that you guys bring in. So you can get your VNG without Russian language and all different features. But it will take time. It does not happen tomorrow. But when you work with the legislation, here's what you want. You want to have as many things on a plate as you can when you make an amendment. Because once done, to wait until the next one is going to take time. So any pain, I need to know. And also, if you have your suggestions, that's nice also. Because this thing about the Latin letters is a nice suggestion. So just, I know it's easy to use S, Russian S, C, it's the same, but it's not actually. Because it's coded differently for a computer.
The form, yes, could refuse to put the Cyrillic.
Okay, the spouse visa goes separate, definitely.
Yeah, I'm just taking some notes real quick here.
Sure.
Single.
And I love the bar, the private bar here.
Maria, it's not the 702 decree topic only, but it's a bit wider. So I understand that at the moment there is no differentiation between the 2 huge groups of migrants.
Unfortunately.
Yes, but maybe it's kind of future trend or
Yeah,
future consideration.
that's what I'm fighting for.
Yeah, I was like thinking that I'm not on 702, just to make clear, right?
What is your visa period?
I don't have a visa, I have an RVP already.
Okay.
I'm the lucky one for the next 2.5 years. No, 2 years left. 2.5. But anyways, the question is that every year I have to go to MVD and to prove that, first of all, I've been in Russia for more than half a year, and secondly, that I have funds to keep myself up so that I'm not a burden to your social system, which is perfectly fine and understandable. However, like some people who come here for whatever reasons, you know, they bring their all life savings in. So my decision was that I'm not going to even start searching for the work during the first year because I have a lot of practical issues to solve. I have family to, you know, kind of get settled. And the thing is that in the end of this year, I'm going to have a problem because I don't have like income because I don't work. So, and the MBD is not...
But you have money.
No, this was answered in the list actually. Someone
But they
posted,
don't
yeah.
take your money as the proof that you can sustain yourself.
Because the law says that I have to have legal income.
Actually, this was answered in the Telegram group, and it says if you have a 12-month bank statement, that MVD can accept it, and somebody posted the actual law on it.
Yeah.
So if you look in the Telegram group, somebody answered this.
300,000 rubles, they should accept it. Like,
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, it's been answered in the group with the actual law. So we've answered this one.
Can you send me this comment?
Yes.
Just in case, so I check it for you.
Okay, yes. And,
Because
Chad, let's after that, or on the issues that we have, the explanation that I give, you can post it on your wherever your YouTube channel somewhere, so people actually go to you and they download the forms that they need.
okay.
The laws like this, or in Telegram, whatever you do.
I do everything.
You just should know how wonderful this man is. I mean, I would be in love, but his heart is busy. It will be unanswered.
My wife will fight you.
No doubt. So forget what you said on camera.
Sorry,
Cut it.
sorry, I have a sim question. For when we have visitors coming from tourists,
Okay.
coming on a tourist visa, since January, it's changed. So now it's almost, I don't want to say impossible, but it's very difficult for someone who's come in for 10 days or 14 days for a holiday to pick up a SIM card.
Yeah, they're working on streamlining it. She did
See,
talk about
that's
that. right?
what I
Yeah.
just said. I said that we are trying now. So we actually had a test in 2 banks already, Sberbank and Tinkoff. Hopefully, all the paperwork, the legal work has been done. The law is there, all okay, but we just need to make the system work. So let's say you're tourists, you probably bring groups or something, which is perfectly fine with me. I know many people doing this. So once they fly in at the airport, they can go to MTS and get their SNILS application, all that done, and get the SIM card. So if in 2 weeks they do not bring the originals, all the documents, they probably don't need to, they're tourists. The SIM card will be blocked. Though I would strongly recommend to actually confirm your status because you need the banking account, just in case, maybe you'll come again. That's what I would do. But give us a little bit of time. I think we know the problem. Because technically this law blocked all the tourists from all over the world. I remember the 2nd of January, it was next to my home. I have an MTS right there. So I was watching people standing in the line without getting a chance to get their SIM cards. So yeah, we're kind of unprepared, I see. And trust me, I did everything I could to make it as fast as possible. Because I see the issue. Nobody kind of thought about you, and I'm responsible for the migration from the unfriendly countries, and we're a small group, but we're very loud. That's what I do.
Regarding kids, there is a bit of misunderstanding between the federal level and the local level on who need to pass the exams. Well, my child is very lucky to already be finishing the first form, so she's in the system, and according to the Ministry of Education, if I wanted to take her to another school, she wouldn't need to pass the exam. But St. Petersburg's Committee of Education is telling me, no, you would need to pass the test. So there is a lack of coordination between the levels. But luckily, they do communicate. So at least in St. Petersburg now, the committee knows that in such cases, kids do not need to be tested. But if they didn't
they're
ask,
already in school. If they have already been in school.
if they are already in the system.
Let's try and move to the next question. We'll take some more questions later. Next one was, will there be opportunities like a digital nomad visa? So like many countries they have, especially during COVID,
okay.
like you can come in, you can only stay a year, but you have external income, you pay a certain amount of income tax, it's a low rate, and it can only work on external income, but to attract people to maybe come experience Russia for a year if they have sustainable income from the
Here's my
outside.
question. The 702 is perfect for anything.
But these are people who don't want to, they maybe don't want to stay, but they want to say, hey, let's check out Russia for a year.
But they can do it on 702. Look,
Okay.
I just want you, well, we can call the program somehow, but when we developed 702, actually the highly qualified specialist visa is not needed anymore. Because it's so simple to get 702, to come in and get your RVP without Russian test.
Okay, so just get 702 instead.
But the actual idea I like, meaning maybe it shall be a special program behind the visa. For instance, I'm now working with the investors program. In Russia, we actually, believe it or not, have an investors program. And actually people who even invested in real estate, buying up to 50 million Russian rubles an apartment, shall be able to get their residency. Okay? But they will still need to pass the Russian test. The question is why? Meaning, if you invest to Russian economy or you buy an expensive apartment and you are considered to be an investor, why shall you pass the language? I mean, it kind of does not make sense.
Connected to this
Yeah.
digital nomad
Yeah.
visa question,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just interested in the position of the Russian government. Are you guys actively interested in attracting educated Westerners?
Sure. So,
Because it's
it
almost
doesn't feel like this.
yeah.
I know. But before, it just happened to be that I became the responsible person for this program only because that thanks to the United States, I'm well known in the world. I had no desire to do that and I didn't try to volunteer. The problem is my ex. So people on the West, I guess, you know President Putin, Lavrov, I guess you know Zakharova and Medvedev. The problem is they never respond on their X. On their Twitter. The issue is I do. So actually that's how in my DM I got all these complaints and requests and people who just want to know more. This is how I became a part of the program. But before me, there was no one. And when I now go to different government offices saying like, listen, you actually exist, those people, because when we passed the 702 visa, here's what I was told in many different offices of the government. No way, Westerners will never go to Russia. And I say, well, you should hate yourself if you think so. They actually do. Each month we have about 150 to 200 people who actually do come, and most of them are families, and most of them are ITs, and they're highly qualified. So actually, and now the government is like, yeah. So they're coming and say, yeah, and they probably need different rules because you cannot punish them for the mutilations. That does not make sense. So on the digital stuff, let me talk to the Ministry of Digital Service. Why I talked about the investors issue. Because there is no such a thing as investor's visa. So people come, let's say on a touristic visa, and then they apply to MINEC, the Ministry of Economical Development of Russia, and they get their special conditions in MINEC, inside, not in MVT even. So maybe we can get something like this for the Ministry of Digital Service. So you can entry with 702, but in order to get certain bonuses as an IT professional, you should need to go to a digital service, for example. But please chat in Telegram, ask people what bonuses would this whatever visa program on digital nomads have.
I think it's
What do they
marketing.
need?
I think it's actually marketing for the most part because people, when you offer them the program of a digital nomad visa, they recognize that,
Sure.
okay, that's an opportunity. And another thing you guys are usually struggling with is taxes, right? Taxation. taxation, some kind
We are
of
now
regime.
trying to develop, maybe for the digital nomads, to actually finally get samozanity. This is self-employed, because this is a big issue. Many of you come here and they just want to do a little business. Samozanity in Russia is absolutely unique. It's really easy.
Yeah.
And to register and to run, maybe that might be a good option. So typically foreigners like you don't ask physical money. You ask conditions that will help you to kind of develop yourself here, which is a good thing, I think. So any experience that you have from your native countries, wherever you're from, bring us ideas, because we need ideas. I analyzed about 50 different countries, including China. China is very cool now on the talent visa. So they give certain issues and they simplify the process. But the spiritual value only we have, nobody else. So, next question.
Next question is police records, because right now they have a 90-day validity, and the problem is, especially with the sanctions, getting the police records back and forth from home countries. Often by the time people get the police records,
Got it.
it's like 89
They
days.
supposed, they lifted at all their time frame for the criminal record. But if they don't, and they don't know about it in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, you know where to go. It's called Call Sauli, Call Maria Butina. Because for now, we're solving it on the most territory of Russia, because it was official. It does work, but in some ministries, it does not. Which means if you have an issue and they say, well, you have this expired document, you probably go to me. But generally, Chad is right. It shall not be done by the phone. Like, hi, here's my guy, because not everybody knows me, right? To get there, you know, the magic wizard. The magic wizard. Про справки говорим, которые по отсутствию судимости. So we have a new head of the Ministry of Immigration. You probably heard about him. I met with him already, and I actually applied to them saying like, look, it's not a law, it's an internal regulation. And they said, if you can actually physically say it, that would be nice. Also, you should be careful. Is here someone from Canada? All right.
Well, I'm working here with my Italian passport,
Okay.
so I'm not.
Just so
officially
you know, I got such issue from Canada and Germany. So your police or whatever you apply for a criminal record from, do something very mean. They take their criminal record and they do make a notarized copy, and they apostille the copy. It will not be taken here, of course, because you're not supposed to apostille the copy.
That's all the questions that I compiled.
Okay.
So.
All right. Sure.
That there is no longer a 90-day time limit on the criminal records at all?
It's not supposed to, but it might still be, which means, well, the regulation. So if you have an issue like this, Chad, Maria, that's for now like this. Because if you have an issue, it's actually good, because I will solve your issue and I will remind them that, listen guys, it seems to me you lifted it, but people who work in the little offices in different areas, they don't know. So you probably need to make them official stuff, okay? Somebody else?
Regarding the criminal record, I'm not sure, like once I go for applying for VNG, I will probably have to submit the new criminal records
So I'm
certificate.
not sure. Here's why. When you apply for your VNG, you're supposed to be in Russia.
Yes.
So it's very strange if you apply for a criminal record there, if you are living in Russia.
I'm not sure about this, but I've heard some horror talks with me one last year.
Well, maybe this is just somebody being creative.
Anyway, like I've heard horror stories of people saying that if you ever leave Russia, like after you have received your RVP, you leave Russia for your country, you know, for a week, and you come back, and this automatically means that you need to renew it when applying for VNG.
Not
Да, согласно новому регламенту. Раньше не требовалось, сейчас надо.
Okay. Yes, you have to do it. Actually, they just passed it. That's why I don't know.
New one.
Yes.
Actually, there was one more question about the issuing of this green card.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
my
and
favorite.
apparently there's some problem in the system and they're overloaded and they can't process them fast enough, so people are having to use a green card, but they're backed up or something.
What's the green card?
I don't need it.
Well, it's actually like not really this thing, but maybe this thing as well.
What do you call it, the green card?
In order to apply for RBP, at the moment of application, you are taking fingerprints, photograph, that's fine. But before we even get to this window with the lady accepting the papers, the very first thing she asks is like, "Зелёная карта." And "Зелёная карта" means that you have already given your fingerprints, have been taken photo. I just don't get the logics, like, okay, I perfectly get the logics why people who are here on other legal grounds, they need a зелёная карта. This is fine, completely fine. You don't get the fingerprints otherwise, right? But for those who go for RBP and for VNG, before this 90-day deadline collapses, why I have to do it? Basically, like the state does it twice for me, and I do it twice for the state. Like,
I also
So,
did it twice.
first time when you apply for your RVP, and second time when you apply to your VNG, supposedly
no.
It's a
nothing
requirement
changed.
for the RVP to get the green card, which is also takes a month, 4 times back and forth to the immigration office, and there you have to do medical testing and there's the fingerprinting.
so basically, I'm not allowed to
Wow.
apply for RBP where fingerprints are taken before giving the fingerprints. Weird.
I think this is one of the simplifications that could be done to the process to exclude the green card thing.
Yeah.
I need a chat in a written form,
Okay.
okay?
It's
That's
not
actually
needed at all.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
At
Doris,
first,
any more?
I'm not sure if that's exactly what they mean,
Okay.
but I've had to I've given my biometria twice. I had to do it separately at the Ulica Krasna Textilshika and the bank, and they appear to not be connected. And I'm currently, because I got a new passport, I'm going to all these offices again, and I might have to do the biometria once again.
That's the third
That
one.
actually might be true so far,
Mm-hmm.
but by having this application in the bank,
Mm-hmm.
we're trying to actually solve it to have the match in databases. There is another issue. Actually having separate databases is a good idea. Because we don't want to leak any information. So we need to, having one measure of database of everything usually is not a
It's
good
a
idea.
security issue.
Yeah, it's a security issue. So sometimes they definitely don't want banks to have an access to MVD because that's unsecure for sure. Oh no, maybe banks are more secure. Anyway, guys, any other questions because I have a different meeting? Okay, go ahead.
What's the reason MVD processes are not in the process room?
Well, what do you mean?
So why don't we apply to the RPP using the customs tool? Why don't we apply to the green card using customs tool? If we have our
You
name,
have a certain access on Gosu for guarantee.
but we can't use it for our Selenum 2 processes.
You cannot use it for everything. You have a limited options, right?
Yeah, exactly. Limited, so we can
What other options would you like to have on Gosu login?
apply for RPP and using also we can apply for the green card, for
But you
example.
will still need to go to do it physically, right? You understand?
At least once, but now we need to go physically 6 times.
Why 6 times?
Four
Rejected
times.
all the time.
4 times for the green card. 1 time to do the test, another time to get the results.
Can
of
you
the test.
describe for me the whole process
Yes,
of 6
yes.
times? Not now.
Sure.
Definitely the chat, okay?
Okay.
All the steps, okay?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah,
Next
sure.
question.
Yeah, second question, just about your opinion as a representative. How do you feel about the fact that people cannot legally work when they have a marriage visa? That's so strange to me.
We
that
already
was a
talked
question.
about
I know,
it.
but what's your opinion?
Well, you should be able to legally work.
Just,
Yeah, because I think it's normal.
It's very strange.
It's very strange, it's illogical, because we're actually interested in having more people working, and we're actually not interested to have a spouse sitting at home doing nothing. So I need to check this issue, and it seems to be strange. I just try to understand the logic. There are probably some, but I just don't know what. Okay, last question. All right, it was very, very joyful meeting. Sorry for being late because of the airplane. But now you see me personally, I'm alive. You can even subscribe on my Telegram channel and watch 2 first episodes of a movie based on my book. So far it's in Russian, but it will be in English soon. We'll put subtitles and doubled for
I'll send the YouTube links onto the group too.
Right?
Yeah, so any issues you have chat, you're very, very happy because he is a good professional, he knows his stuff. And I probably shall see you soon because I will be here presenting my book and the movie on Sunday. I think it's going to be 4 p.m. They have an exhibition for the books. What is it? Yarmarka Factory.
Chad, send me your links.
I don't have those links yet, but if one of you send me, I will send it to them.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So if you want to come, you're free to do so. And if you're in Moscow, let us know because we have meetings like that. Though on our meetings we have tea and beer, and for the French, wine. Chad, that's a hint. Okay, thank you very much, guys.
You had me at beer.
All right.